Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the One Nation of Gamers Circuit Feature Tournament number 3. My name is TJ. I'm joined once again by That's Admirable. And this is the matchup that I was looking forward to all day today. It's going to be the semifinals. Chakki taking on Th3Rat. Now, Admirable, these are two players that you are very familiar with. So give me the scoop.
Yeah, well, Chakki, of course, has been absolutely dominant in his performances recently. Taking down DreamHack in Austin, winning a tournament shortly thereafter, even won an Open Cup earlier this week, and just made top 4 at the Xfinity Invitational. Just obviously just been crushing it. Plus his top 8 performance at the Winter Championship. On fire recently, and seeming to be one step ahead of the curve when it comes to finding the strongest lists that are out there and putting together a lineup for it. Brian the Rat Cortade, a player that very hard on the practice train. I know he's practiced with Osaka a lot in the past. Is on board with practicing with Muzzy, Nostum, Chakki, those guys as well. I mean, they pretty much come ready to play, and oftentimes they're playing similar styled lists. Shares very similar opinions on their approaches to the game. And so in this match in particular, really interesting to see how those styles clash. It's been a long weekend of casting, goodness. And to see really what ends up making it tick here, because when you have those aggressive styles clashing against each other, it can be something really unique to watch. Now, something that I know that Chakki's extremely good at is adapting to the situation, where the Rat, I feel like, is extremely good at following through on certain game plans and recognizing where he's at in a game and what his win condition is at that point, which often leads him down aggressive lines. So in this one in particular, I think they're going to be looking to try to force resources from their opponents uncomfortably and then capitalize on top of that.
Yeah, these guys have played together in a few tournaments. They are actually both in the finals, I believe, of the Open tournament that Chakki ended up winning, which gave Rat enough points to qualify. So this is sort of a rematch of that one. And Chakki's success continuing now. We'll see if he can pull it through. These guys have very similar lineups, just a couple of differences here. The Rat has the Reno combo Warlock, whereas Chakki has Zoo. The Rat does have a Control Warrior, whereas Chakki, I believe, has the Tempo Warrior, if I remember correctly from yesterday. But the same Druids, same Hunters, just about. Well, we haven't seen Chakki's Hunter yet, so we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. And we'll have to see who's going to come out on top. We're going to jump into the first match. It's going to be the Rat throwing out this mid-range Hunter, and Chakki is going to throw out the Cthulhu Druid.
Yeah, that Hunter being the 5th deck for Chakki, kind of a testament to how strong I believe it is. He's kind of gotten away from the idea of just playing purely aggressive decks and playing the lists he thinks are strong. I mean, at DreamHack Austin, he brought 3 control decks in Zoo. And oftentimes the Zoo is getting banned. And we saw him 3-0 with control decks multiple times. And that is certainly a testament to his versatility as a player. Recently kind of been moving back towards that. But even here, playing a mid-range deck, so the Hunter is basically a mid-range deck at this point. And at this point, the control decks, I think they've kind of been pressured out. All the aggressive builds are kind of bringing the tools to really fight what the control decks have brought very effectively. And so to find the new tools that are going to handle that, it takes time. And Chuck, he's like, you know what? I'm on the side where I think I can force the players who are playing control into the uncomfortable spots.
Yep. And opens up with double Living Roots now. And we'll have to see what he's going to decide to go with. I have seen players on turn 1 against Hunter hold on to it just because of the threat of like Flame Juggler, but he has 2 of them. It's very rare, and he just goes ahead and makes these 2/2/2s. 2/1/1s. 2/2 with the stats.
It's definitely a little bit better proactively. I mean, say that the Rat didn't have a play this turn, which is not unreasonable. There's 2 Fiery Bats, which obviously this is contesting fairly nicely, as well as the 2 King's LX and the 2 Huge Toads. Now, outside of those, there's no more plays in this deck. And if Rat doesn't have one of those, that means Chakki gets to open with 2 copies of Living Roots and get in quite a bit of damage. The Rat's going to choose to not coin here. And now with Chakki, that Disciple of Cthulhu, you can kind of see partially where this investment leads to as well, being able to trade up with that Disciple of Cthulhu and keep a strict control of the board and push as much damage as you can.
Yeah. Pressure is a way that you can force the Hunter into uncomfortable situations. You think he just Living Roots for 1/1s again here? Just go for 4 1/1s on the board? Gets punished by Unleash the Hounds, but At least now sometimes it's only a one of in these Hunter decks.
Yeah, not only that, but Deadly Shot's been finding its way into a lot of these builds. And where are they making room for that? Well, one of the cuts usually is traps. The other one cut is usually Unleash the Hounds. And I think Unleash the Hounds is exactly what Chakki's thinking about when he makes this play. It seems a little bit weird to lead with turn 1 Living Roots and then not follow up with the second one, especially when the Rat just had such a weak turn.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be a bit weak to Unleash the Hounds regardless, but not quite as weak. We'll have that extra utility in his hand. So Disciple of Cthulhu going to answer this nicely and start to build towards that Twin Emperor. So now Chakki's got some pretty clean plays here. He's got Swipe to answer Animal Companion. He's got a wide board that Deadly Shot's really ineffective against. He's got a big taunt on turn 6 and then 2 more big taunts on turn 7. You can kind of see why this deck is starting to get favored. You know, it took a while to arrive at the right builds, but pretty much ever since Silent Storm put together that initial build of Cthulhu Druid that he performed so well with, it's become very popular in these competitive spots.
Yeah, especially if you go wide early like this. Hard for the Hunter to really find a way to come back into it. Cards like Deadly Shot, Freezing Trap, don't really do much. And he has a quick shot, a Disciple of Cthulhu.
When Chakki sees that quick shot, he's got to be pretty darn sure that there is no Unleash the Hounds in the Rat's hand.
Yeah.
I mean, if this is not a second Living Roots here, I'm gonna be stunned. You know, maybe he decides to play around to top deck to Unleash the Hounds.
This is not another Living Roots here. I'll eat my shorts.
Yeah, that would just kind of go.
Today.
I would just kind of go against everything that Chakki and I have ever practiced together. I'm like, what? Not a second Living Roots. So yeah, got the information he needed. Has a good idea of the Rat's range right now. More heavy-handed style of play. That's exactly what it is. Eagle Horn bow. I mean, I imagine this is not a feels bad man bow into one of these 1/1s.
Feels bad man with a bow. I mean, if he Eagle Horn bows here, like you just equip it and pass, then what happens if he curves into Harrison Jones?
I don't know. This is just looking awful for the Rat. The lack of significant early plays has cost him a lot.
Yeah. You hero power pass. Maybe it is a feels bad man bow into these 1/1s.
If that's the case, these guys are working overtime.
I'm not really familiar with labor laws for trees.
Same. Wow. I mean that I hate calling games this early, but that is really bad.
Yeah,
for the Rat. Like that's a signal of the peril he's in.
Mm-hmm. Chakki's going to think this one through, but I think this is a snap call on that Druid of the Claw.
I think so as well.
Maybe thinking of whether or not to charge it, but
protect the 1/1s.
Yeah.
Charging's not that bad here either, just because he has the Dark Arco to follow up. Wow, it is going to be charged too. And the Rat, he just looks uncomfortable. He looks uncomfortable a lot. I think it's just like his focused face. Like he just, I don't think he is uncomfortable. It's just like the way he focuses. Mm-hmm. But in this spot in particular, he is at 14. And he's done nothing. But he's going to 13. And he's ripping the Deadly Shot. And it doesn't connect. And he's going to drop even lower. And now what does he do about the Dark Arca? What does he do about that? That's just lethal in 2 turns.
Yeah.
There's no heal in Hunters. They don't play Earthen Ring Farseers and Reno Jackson stuff. Chakki just locked the game up.
Yeah. No, not even a need to play the Dark Arakoa. Just going to say, you know what? Unless you beat me this turn.
The old 32 damage from hand Hunter.
Well, he does have a tracking. That's a start.
Okay, so if he gets a Sorcerer's Apprentice and he lock and loads into nothing but Bestial Wraths, that's a way to win.
Yeah.
I'm trying to isolate the board, and Swipe's going to clean this one up. Chakki takes a very quick game number 1. This is not really what you expect with Cthulhu Druid, but if Hunter opens up poorly, this is a sign of how this deck can struggle. You know, we've seen it be successful all weekend long, and here in game number 1, just dropping the ball. Just the 7 manager of the Claw Shards. You know, that's like a Sky Cap and Crag.
Sure, yeah.
Which we saw earlier today.
He's just sort of showing the rat, hey, buddy, you didn't actually live that turn. I can just replay it. But, yeah, quick win for Chakki. And Cthulhu Druid we've seen win very quickly, I mean, throughout the whole weekend. So no surprise there. It's definitely coming to the forefront of competitive decks at the moment. Like you said, Silent Storm, bring that deck to prelims and bring it to rank 1 on ladder. I'm pretty sure like 3 out of the 5 players who finished in the top 5 on ladder, Neobility, Silent Storm, and BB Gun, I believe, were all playing Cthulhu Druid up there. Fibonacci and King of Type were the 2 that playing other decks. Midrange Hunter or Control Warrior with the Zoth and Midrange Hunter respectively. But see what Chakki's going to throw out next.
Yeah, if I know